All right, continuing on with part 2. Very, very keen to go through this. I'll play. Hello. There you go. All right. Little bit of change.
Strange time we're living in, panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show, America.
Oh, okay. He did, even in the first one, I think he made a lot of references to America, the political system, economics, social justice, a plethora of very fundamental issues, which is why these series of songs, I've been told, is right up my alley. So I'm going to do my best to lyrically dissect this. Here we go. Okay, that's a lot to talk about, but essentially, what a searing curtain raiser Ren unfolds here. In a mere handful of lines, he sketches a panorama of societal malaise, the atmosphere of strange times heavy with panic and hysteria. It just sets a tone at once prophetic and conversational in a way. His couplets fall like hammer blows. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for you. Now, marrying a colloquial bite with timeless lament in that bar, the image of narcissism spreads like malaria, is both grotesque and apt, a metaphor of infection suggesting that self-interest is not merely a vice but a contagion. And then the last sardonic flourish, sit back and watch the show America, is no casual aside but a Brechtian breaking of the fourth wall, inviting the listener to witness, complicit and aghast, the grand theatre of capitalism's absurdities. In its rhythm, a timbre, Ren's delivery carries the tout urgency of a street poet, yet the structural craft evokes a bard casting a mirror before our age. Okay, so let's keep this going.
Show America, Britain split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These counterfeit politicians sit in parliament, not adequate. Come on, needlessly bleeding.
Okay, yeah. Sorry to pause so soon. And I know you told me to not apologize for pausing, and I'm sorry about that. Oh, that's irony for you. Now, here, Ren pivots his lens from the American stage to the home front, and the tone sharpens like a chisel. The internal rhymes, split, fickle, shit, and counterfeit, sit, adequate. Great rhyme scheme. Almost nursery rhythm and cadence, a deliberate contrast to the gravity of his indictment. Britain is split not by noble principle, but by fickle squabbles, its leaders branded as counterfeit and cast as actors in a shabby pantomime of governance. By pairing the hallowed parliament with the damning not adequate, Ren executes a neat, almost Shakespearean anticlimax, reducing grandeur to mediocrity. It is political critique rendered in rhyme and rhythm, wielded like a rapier rather than a cudgel. Okay, let's keep this going. By the way, it is 34 degrees Celsius at the moment, so please do bear with me. It's very, very hot.
Come on, needlessly bleeding, resources all dry.
Okay.
Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise. Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die if number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing, I'm a peaceful adolescent. There's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain while my fingers on the trigger of a money game.
Okay, alright, so that leads into the chorus, I see. Okay, few thoughts. Well, when I say a few, a lot. Ren here builds his crescendo with the dexterity of a dramatist, weaving outrage and irony into a single tapestry. The opening couplet, needlessly bleeding, resources all dry, turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise, operates like a stiletto slipped between the ribs of officialdom, exposing venality as a casual reflex rather than an aberration. His darkly comic musing on Downing Street aflame, immediately followed by the self-conscious disclaimer, only joking, only messing. For me, that's more than a punchline. It dramatizes the push and pull between righteous fury and social censure. The awareness that he has is that even metaphorical fire can draw literal backlash. In its tonal swerve from rage to mock contrition, the verse echoes the gallows humor of a folk ballad or a satirical pamphlet, venom delivered with a wink, in other words. The close of the passage feels almost metatextual. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme to analyze the brain. That positions Ren as both bard and clinician, dissecting society with the cool precision of a researcher while never relinquishing the poet's cadence. Yet the final image, my fingers on the trigger of a money game, a line we know fairly well by now, fuses intellect and action into a single dangerous moment, as though his critique were not merely an academic exercise, but a loaded act of resistance. Now this, my gentle viewer, is the alchemy of Ren's art in Money Game Part 2. So the collision of satire, sincerity, scholarship, and street fire, leaving us both unsettled and enthralled. All right, I'm guessing he's going into a chorus, so I think I did hear that.
Money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain.
A
storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we die upon the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame. But point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game.
This is my favorite part of the song. The humming.
This old money game.
I was actually humming this the other day. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on.
This old money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers lying by.
You know what, I really do hate tech sometimes. So in this chorus, Ren achieves something almost hymn-like, a communal lament with melody of repetition. Rain, 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 rain. Blame, 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 blame. That echoes the cyclical nature of the very systems he critiques. Yet rather than simply rehashing the refrain of part 1, he deepens its moral weight. The storm is no longer merely approaching, but palpably comes our way. A reckoning rather than a warning. His imagery of poisoning the veins evokes not just institutional corruption, but a shared bloodstream implicating every listener in the malaise. The sudden pivot, point the mirror at ourselves, feels like a confession delivered to a congregation, a call to agency, self-examination, and complicity. In its soaring yet somber cadence, the chorus transcends finger-wagging protests and becomes instead an anthem of collective responsibility, inviting not just outrage, but transformation, in my interpretation of it. But let's keep this going.
Of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 rain.
Favorite part of the song.
A storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies, poison in the veins, but we die upon the blame, 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 blame. It's easier
Music
to
is
blame.
somewhat different. Not
But
too
point the mirror at ourselves. We're all
This is
part
more
of
vibe.
this whole money game.
Love that. And it sounds like a very
This
healthy.
old money game.
Okay, a few things. These graphics are telling a story. So let's go through the lyrics and then talk a little bit about that. Ren now dons the robes of a trickster professor, turning the stage into both pulpit and classroom. The opening couplet, money is a game and the ladder we climb, turns a saint into a sinner with his finger in crime. Now that distills an entire moral treatise on capitalism into a pithy aphorism, as if Machiavelli had taken up spoken word. So the ascent of the ladder, which is evoking ambition, mobility, hierarchy, does not elevate but contaminates, transforming virtue into vice. A warning that complicity is the inevitable price of advancement in the system. By announcing he'll break it down line by line, Ren signals a shift from lyrical invective to pedagogical clarity. The teacher at the front of the class, chalk in hand, determined to make the lesson sting. At least that's what I'm getting from it. And the genius of the ensuing stanza lies in its collision of the innocent and the cynical. She sells seashells on the seashore. The most archetypal of English tongue twisters is suddenly recast as an economic parable. Ren deploys the nursery rhyme not for whimsy, but as a Trojan horse, I'm going to say, to smuggle in laws of supply and demand. The imagery of shells losing their value cause their loads on the sand. It causes an almost cartoonish but devastatingly clear allegory for market saturation and depreciation. This juxtaposition of childlike rhyme with adult reality creates a kind of cognitive whiplash. The listener is charmed by the familiar cadence, even as the content peels back the cheery wallpaper to reveal the cold mathematics of commerce. It is, so far, in my estimation, in miniature, the very method of Money Game Part 2 to just strip away mystique and show with both wit and with venom how even our simplest stories are entangled in the machinery of money. Right, let us continue. A few of the imagery I don't really get.
Money is a game and the ladder we climb turns a saint into a sinner with this fingering crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to the laws of supply and demand. No one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand. Step one, must...
Okay, alright, that's interesting. Okay, continuing onwards. Bloody hell, it's hot.
Shells, cause there's loads on the sand. Step one, you must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much better if the people think they're rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile them high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step two, gotta make the people think that they want them. Really want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a shell, then you're just a fucking waste man. Free. It's...
How very interesting. My knowledge on economics isn't unbelievable, but let's see. Okay, so now here, Ren becomes not merely an expositor, but an arch-villain unmasking the con. The shift to numbered steps is inspired. Like a grotesque business manual, he walks through the manufacture of desire. In step 1, scarcity is not a natural phenomenon, but a calculated artifice. The shells, once worthless for their abundance, are spirited away, stockpiled high until they're rarer than a diamond. A gleeful parody of market manipulation, from De Beers to tech monopolies, for example. The sing-song quality of "bear with me" and "rarer than a diamond" cloaks the cynicism in a childlike lilt, making the mechanics of the exploitation sound deceptively simple, even fun to some degree. Now, step 2 then reveals the other half of the equation. Propaganda and psychological conditioning make the people think that they want him, really effing want them. Mimics the hypnotic beat of advertising jingles, for example, hammering desire into compulsion. And Ren's shout out to Bronson connotes a punch of force and aggression, while his litany, influencers, product placement, featured prime time entertainment, maps the entire apparatus of modern marketing. By the time he sneers, if you haven't got a shell, then you're just a effing waste man. The satire there is complete. A society duped into measuring worth by the possession of an utterly arbitrary commodity. It's not just economics, he's teaching, but the anatomy of manipulation, delivered with a grin as sharp as a scalpel.
Fucking waste, man. 3, it's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. Shells must sell, that will be a new philosophy. Swallow all your morals, they're a poor man's quality. 4, expand, expand, expand. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hands. 5, why just shells? Why limit yourself? She sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6, guns, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock, sell water to a fish, sell the time to a clock. 7, press on the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run to be the president of the United States.
Okay, so the sequence of the song is moving. It feels like the dark apotheosis of Ren's lesson plan. Rap-inflected inferno where each step descends further into moral corruption. In step 3, the mock MBA curriculum reaches its full parody, I think. Invest inside some property, start a corporation, make a logo, do it properly. The jaunty rhyme of properly philosophy masks a chilling message. Branding and expansion are not mere tactics, but articles of faith, while ethics are dismissed as a poor man's quality. It is Milton's Satan with a PowerPoint deck. That's interesting. Evangelizing greed as though it were gospel. Now from there, the steps tumble into grotesque escalation. Clear forest, make land, fresh blood on hand evokes colonization and ecological pillage in a single, almost nursery rhyme beat. He goes on to say, why just shells? Sell oil as well. Captures the metastasis of profit logic devouring new markets as it goes. We come to step 6. It's the absurdist imagery which reaches fever pitch, selling water to a fish or time to a clock, a sort of Dali-esque tableau of communication so total it becomes surreal. And then we come to step 7. Press on the gas or run to be the president of the United States. The salesman becomes the statesman. Commerce and power collapse into one. In its rhythm, this passage is almost gleeful, like a skipping rhyme, but beneath the bounce is a howl of moral horror, an anatomy of capitalism's endgame where everything, nature, people, time itself, is stock, and the highest office is merely another rung on the profit ladder. Okay, Alright, we're going to keep going.
President of the United States, 8, big smile, make big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated, tell lies out the gate. 9, polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name. 10, the world is yours, step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar, cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain.
Okay, yeah. It's definitely a searing indictment on politicians. Yeah, mostly politicians and people in power. Here, Ren's satire pivots from the machinery of commerce to the theatre of persona, and the tone sharpens to something almost diabolical. Now, step 8 exhorts the practitioner to charm and deceive simultaneously. Big smile, mate. Big wave, that's great. Now the truth is overrated. Tell lies out the gate. In this brief couplet, the performative veneer of charisma is shown to be inseparable from duplicity, a really grim commentary on how appearances and rhetoric manipulate perception. The rhythm of the lines mirrors the easy, conversational cadence of a mentor passing down forbidden secrets, but every word drips with moral corrosion. Step 9 extends this lesson into social alchemy. Polarize the people, controversy is the game. Ren captures the modern contagion of outrage and spectacle, where infamy can be a currency and notoriety a ladder. Now, the final step, step 10, crystallizes the tragicomic apex of the lesson. Applause becomes complicity, and success is measured by the mastery of vice itself. To be a liar, a cheat, a devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore, there it comes back. That is both indictment of elegy, a striking synthesis of Ren's recurring motif, that even the simplest commodities and acts are entangled in webs of power, greed, and performance. It is, in effect, capitalism's morality tale rendered in rhythm and rhyme, simultaneously playful, terrifying, and devastatingly precise. Okay, all right. I think he's going to go into the chorus and perhaps a final verse. I have no idea. This is my first time seeing this. So, play it all the way through. Let's see.
Rain, 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 rain.
Yay, chorus.
Storm it comes our way. And no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but we not upon the blame, 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 blame.
Oh, wow.
It's easier to blame. We point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game.
Give me that.
This old money game.
I know a few of these games.
This old.
Okay, so that one was still lyrically profound. And what's even more important is when you analyze everything through the context of like Money Game Part 1. I understand Money Game Part 2 a lot more because I watched Money Game Part 1 not too long ago. Okay, so that's Money Game Part 2 by Ren. It's a masterclass in lyrical satire. It is a piercing exploration of ambition, corruption, and complicity dressed in the playful guise of rhyme and rhythm. From the very opening lines, he establishes a world teetering on chaos, where societal iniquities and moral decay are both spectacle and contagion. So across the song, Ren's narrative alternates between sharp political critique, economic parables, and surreal exaggeration using nursery rhymes, rhythms, tongue twisters, and step-by-step guides as instruments to expose the mechanisms of greed and manipulation. Each verse is a careful calibration of wit and moral observation. Saints become sinners on the ladder of ambition, scarcity and desire are manufactured, and morality is routinely swallowed by profit, or for profit rather. And by the final steps, the song transforms into a darkly comic morality play. Charm, deceit, polarization, and spectacle are the currencies of power. Applause rewarding duplicity rather than virtue. Through his incisive imagery and cadences, Ren forces the listener to confront not only the systemic rot of society and the corrosive nature of money, but also their own place within the old money game, rendering a work that is at once intellectually rigorous, rhythmically captivating, and profoundly unsettling. And this is just part 2. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at part 3.